All right. Welcome, Fuel Nation. Welcome. So we're still under the femininity part of uh, welcome, Fuel Nation. Welcome. So I wanted to do as part of getting into femininity is and understanding femmes is just talking about my experience. Okay, a little bit here for you, like what I've known, what I've been through, what I've seen. Okay, so I started off on just my journey as un- I don't even know how to make sense of it, but I always knew I was attracted to women, but I had started to date men. I had a boyfriend in high school, another boyfriend in high school. We kissed, we made out, etc., etc. Um, Almost, lost my virginity, but didn't. Um, there was a part of me that kind of held that back a little bit, only because I knew something in me was just like a little attracted to the pink Power Ranger or my second grade teacher, and I just thought they were beautiful. So something in me knew that I was queer or queer friendly. I didn't have a word for it back then, but I did know that I there was a spark when I saw a woman or felt like the nurturing energy and feminine energy. I was always a tomboy, you know. So even in high school, when I had boyfriends, they were like my brother's friends that were just cool and they liked me and respected me and they thought I was cool. I thought they were cool. We dated. We didn't again do too much. Um, I would say that my first relationship was with a man, um, and he was very masculine. He was a paramedic for the fire department, FDNY, lots of muscles, very attractive, abs. I admired him. I admired his body. I respected him and what he was about. And he was a perfect example of masculinity to me in a lot few ways. And that's why I chose him. And I'm hearing myself say that, and that's why me, as someone in my feminine energy at that time, because I was a femme when I met my boyfriend. I was a tomboy in high school, tomboy when I was younger, but when I met my boyfriend when I was in my 20s, I was a femme. And I wore cute outfits, I wore heels, I wore makeup, I did my hair. So I'll include a picture somewhere for you all to see. But as a femme woman, I was attracted to those qualities in him. And I mean, now I know today is I was attracted to his muscles and his abs and his, ways about him was because I'm attracted to masculinity because I am masculinity. I am. So I initially started my journey as a feminine person, as a feminine woman. And yeah, in my journey, I was bisexual initially. After him, I had my towards the end of him, I had a few sexual relationships with women in relationships because I was bi and they were bi and we both experimented together. So, and I was attracted to femmes. So I was a femme attracted to femmes. So femmes attracted to femmes, like on TikTok and whatever, I know your struggle because it is hard to tell another girl she's pretty, but that you also want to play with her or see her naked, and it's just like you're both should be friends but you're just kind of like want to break the friend zone. So I get that. I get that. I've been there. It was hard, it was challenging. I feel like life is easier as a mask now because women see you, they know you're gay, and they know what you're about and how you operate, if you know what I mean. um but at that time, first few women I was with, and I'm always been attracted to, are feminine women. I've always been attracted to feminine women. I don't know what it is, but the traditional husband wife, girlfriend boyfriend type of dynamic is something that I've seen myself in, and that's the type of dynamic that I wanted for myself. I didn't know it at that time, but that's how even today I want it. I don't want to say traditional as in like rigid conservative. I just mean traditional like the guy is the worker, the girl kind of is like the nurturer, the lover, supportive, massages, food, kisses, cuddles is his place where he can just also relax after a hard day's work, stuff like that. Um, that's what I've seen my whole life with men and women. And again, initially I was dating femmes just for fun. And it wasn't until I got into a relationship with she was a top. She was a femme, but she was a top. And there was certain qualities she had where she was just fun. She didn't take anything seriously. She was a little bit of a bad boy. She was very insanely attractive. Like if this girl told me to walk off a cliff into burning fire, at that time I might have. No, I'm just kidding. Um, she's a very attractive girl. Worked nightlife. Um, yeah, I got sucked into a relationship with her, and we had I guess a polyamorous relationship with a guy on the side because we were both bisexual. And I was a bottom with her. I was femme. I loved dressing up for her. I loved the lingerie, the heels, looking good. I loved to whatever she wanted. Like I would try to bring her food, get her what she wanted. Sometimes I brought her flowers, which is funny, but I wanted to nurture her, and I was there, and I wanted to be there to just let her release her attention on me, from her week, from her day, from her problems in life. Um, yeah. So I was a femme for a few years. But at the same time, I was bringing her flowers. I was creating a safe space for her, um, doing all those things. And that's something a masculine person does. And I would look at her in certain ways where, one time I told her, like, I want to top you, I want to try. And she was like, what? I don't see you like that. And I'm like, but she did let me. And then like getting into the intimacy, she's like, Izzy, this feels weird, like let's stop, no more. I'm like, ah, damn, okay. So like it was kind of awkward me trying to top. She just didn't see me that way. I was like this crazy attractive femme girl that just kind of like gave her a run for her money, but also that she loved me. We were off and on together for about 2 years, 2.5 years, and I never thought I would get over that girl ever, but I did, thankfully. Um, so fast forward some of my journey. Um, After that relationship with her, I dated men and women, poly and couples for a while. I had a lot of masculine and feminine energy in me, and it was in the middle after her. And guarded, scared, hurt. I didn't know exactly what I wanted. I mean, if you gave me another her that wasn't toxic, I probably would have been stayed. But our relationship was not healthy, not, and she wanted to remain poly, and I didn't. I knew that when I was with her and fell in love, that I saw myself just being with a woman for the rest of my life. So that was the pro to being in that relationship, was I was able to see that I could love a woman for the rest of my life. I knew I was gay. I diagnosed myself. Um, and I was a romantico, like I wanted love. I wanted to get married with her. But she didn't see that being with a woman just for the rest of her life. She saw herself as somehow still dating men and dating women. And then that was what she wanted. I had to walk away. Okay. So if that's you're in a situation that's similar, you date girls that are bi, you date women that haven't fully left their husband or their other partners, I'll tell you just walk away. Walk away with your dignity and your, I would say, your two balls. Just take your strap and walk out of there. Um, at that time I wasn't a top. I didn't have the strap. I didn't wear it. So um, yeah. So fast forward after her, I did date some men briefly, like hooking up. Again, I was attracted to muscles, to men, to masculinity. So I was kind of confused, but I had to be drinking to be with men. So I think a certain point came where I finally realized, like, yes, I'm fully gay. This doesn't work for me. If I have to drink to be with a guy, even though I'm attracted to them, this makes me. I feel like that's at the same time I realized I was fully gay. Was being in love with her, seeing myself with her for the rest of my life. And then the fact that I knew that I was only with men normally when I was drinking, and it didn't make sense. And then I was like, then yeah, wait, this makes sense. Maybe because I'm really, really gay. Um, so I laid off the guys. Um, I finally said, I'm gay, gay. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not drinking. I don't want to be that person. I don't even care and have feelings and emotions towards these men. I'm just having fun and enjoying myself in the pleasure, and I don't, you know. And again, I was a bottom, but again, I was attracted to muscles. I was attracted to men with good jobs. I was attracted to men that had their shit together or had companies. Like there were certain qualities in a man that if I saw them, I like was in admiration. Like, you go, bro. Like, and I was curious to be in their life to get to know them a little bit and to spend time with them. But I see today that I was attracted to that because I'm attracted to those qualities: the discipline, the martial arts, the body, the gym, the weights, the money, the business, the mentality. You know, I'm attracted to all of that because that's who I am. So I would say it wasn't until I started dating. I went on like a 5 year hiatus, getting in any relationships, and even I think I was a celibate those 5 years. I don't think I had sex for 5 years, and then I started dating again. But this time, I was dating as a top. Okay. So somewhere in that 5 years, I had to focus on myself, work on my life, rebuild my life after that relationship with her. I changed careers, got into healthcare. Um, Certain things happened in my life, and I moved out on my own. I had more bills. I was very much in my masculine energy, very much working, had to push some feelings aside and just push through life and rebuild it. And I had to stay focused, disciplined. So all the masculine qualities just started to just get, stack up in me. And it was in that process that I was still seeing, pretty women online. I'm just like, okay, or yeah, that's how I was mostly dating at that time was through the dating apps. So did meet a few girlfriends. First, see, I made a few girls. Two of the girls had mixed energy, like STEMmy energy. So, and then I had never been a top. So, one of them, I just remember she was super beautiful, blonde, blue eyes, and yoga. She was into yoga and all that stuff. Attractive. I think she had been like a stripper or something. And I was like, oh, so she was really cool. But one time we were in the car, like making out, and she's like, I wanna top you. I wanna. And at that point, like I had already been through a lot with my ex. I had already had a few years hiatus from being sexually active. I already had a few years of just feeling masculine inside, and I was attracted to her femininity. Sometimes she did dress a little STEMmy. I mean, who doesn't? You just have to wear jeans sometimes and be practical. A hoodie, whatever. Um, so I told her, I don't see myself that way. I'm not, it's not gonna happen. So that was the first time I ever told a girl, like, you're really beautiful, you're really attractive, but no, I don't see myself as being a bottom, and I'm not into that with you. I'm not into that. I'm sorry. So that's when my journey started to change, was when I finally said, like, no, I'm not a bottom anymore. It just doesn't feel authentic to me. So again, and it didn't matter how what she looked like, just that energy of her masculinity and wanting to top me, I was not into it. Just not. Okay. So that's just how it works. If I'm in my masculine, she's in her masculine, it's just not gonna work. And then we did have a few arguments about something else, and then that was during the pandemic 2020, so we did separate. um, I did feel like I loved her, but I was able to move on because I knew deep in my heart, like, we just weren't compatible like that, because we weren't even intimately, reproductively, attraction, family compatible. If you can't build a family with a girl, you can't be intimate with her how you want. How can you have that you basically cannot reproduce with her? If you can't connect with them sexually, you can't reproduce. If you can't reproduce, you can't have a family. If you can't have a family, then what are you doing with them? you know there's some people that can work for it very sexual, but I don't teach here at Fuel Nation for relationships that are asexual. I teach for people who have masculine qualities, and you kind of are striving for the full package of intimacy, money, health, um, business, everything like that. Okay, so yeah, so that was my first relationship where I was finding like, no, I'm a top. No, I'm not a bottom anymore. And then after that, I was pretty much took off from there, I will say. And I did date a few women that I wasn't exhibiting qualities of safety. I was too emotional. I was too attached. I was too, did I say needy? Did I say insecure? I was all those things. If a girl had the guy friends, I'm like, what are you doing with these guys? I wasn't confident. Um, I let women walk all over me because I thought I was being a gentleman and I didn't say no sometimes. So any mistake that you can make, like I've made a lot of mistakes in the relationship because sometimes you think that because we're both gay and we're both women that we're not gonna hurt each other. She's not gonna hurt me. Like she knows I'm a girl. Like she loves me. She likes me. She cares about me. She should care about me. But no, it's sometimes in relationships a lot. If you don't spend time getting to know somebody and you get involved with them and they have certain red flags and you ignore them, like that's really what you're doing. You're hurting yourself. Okay? So you would want to say like why didn't they care more? But why didn't you stop to think it was a red flag when she was out with guy friends when you first met her that first week on a Wednesday night, not on the weekend? And she did that every week. So why didn't you put two and two together? So sometimes we get mad at these femmes or whoever, but it's like, why didn't you see it? Where was your discernment? Where was your clarity? And why didn't you make the decision just that she wasn't going to work for you from the get go? And this is why it's good to just have a good mentality towards women and just to not be thirsty and to just see us all as equal is because some people will be needing a relationship, needing sex, needing touch, and they'll start getting involved with people that they have no business. And I did that. After 5 years, I did want touch. After 5 years, I didn't really care who it was with. So I did get involved with one girl was pretty cool. We just had very different cultural backgrounds. And it was her guy friends that got in the way that I feel like I had a problem with that I finally was like, you know what, like I need a break. I really don't want to do this. I'm not gonna in my head I'm just like I'm not competing with your guy friends. Like if you want to keep them, but I'm out. Like I don't like that energy. I don't like guy friend buying her a cell phone. That was like for me the last straw. Like that one man has no business buying my girlfriend anything like that. That's my job. Um, yeah. So, and then another relationship was just with somebody who drank too much, and I would say that relationship she was very masculine, core, very feminine on the outside, gorgeous, another blonde hair, blue eyes, curvy waist, big booty. Her body was great. She took care of herself well, manicures, colored nails, dresses, lingerie, all the stuff, all the feminine stuff on the outside. But on the inside, she's not trusting, untrustworthy, going out a lot, drinking a lot. Um, all she cared about was her money. She was selfish, self-centered, not that nurturing unless you really asked her to be. Um, she just was not feminine, core, nurturing, soft, caring, loving, sweet. She was spiteful, fearful. She had some toxic relationships in the past. She was very much in her masculine energy on the inside. Um, but I stayed with her because she looked femme, and in the bedroom she was femme. She was the bottom. And but long term it just couldn't work because the qualities didn't match in the relationship. They just didn't. Um, so I kept going on my way. So all of that in a nutshell is to say that I've been everything. Femme, well, uh, hetero, well, I've been a hetero bottom, a femme bottom, a stem, both. Then I was a stem top. Then I was a mask with long hair top, and then now I'm a butch mask top. And I will say, along my journey, my energy of masculinity has matured. And that's what I hope for you all, is that you're on wherever you're at on this journey, that it just matures and you're in relationships with the femmes that you want. Not just because she looks good, not just because she gives you the sex that feels good, because she gives you the whole package. That's what I want for you. Okay, in relationships. And again, you should not be here if you don't know who you are and you're not healthy, you're not well, you don't have great mental health. You should not be in a relationship where you can hurt somebody or be in a place where you're very vulnerable, maybe after the death of somebody or again illness, and then you're going to get hurt. If you don't know what you want in a relationship, I would say just don't get in one. But again, I can't tell you what to do. We all need to experiment sometimes and get to know ourselves. You need to, if you need to hook up and find out what you like, I can't stop you. But it's better to, be free of vices, have clear intentions, communicate with people what you're doing and what works for you and doesn't. If you see red flags, I would say stay away. Okay. But again, it's the one with the red flags are the ones that are into the hooking up and doing XYZ. So that's a double-edged sword. So this is what I got on understanding femmes in the portion of my story. I understand femmes and bottoms because I've been there. I've been it. I know what it's like to feel like I need certain masculine qualities in my girlfriend and in my boyfriend. And I got them and I was attracted to them. And now I know what it feels like to be on the other side and have to embody these qualities myself. So I'm not telling you this stuff because I Googled it. I'm telling you this stuff because I lived it.